This video is going to be focusing on the division process called partial quotients. I'm going to walk you through a couple of examples. Okay, so starting with this one, what I tell my 5th grade students is when you're trying to solve this using partial quotients, you're going to want to start with an easy multiple. So I'm going to go with 25 times 10. 25 times 10. So what I tell them to do is just over to the side here, go ahead and put 25 times 10. Now, anytime you multiply by 10, you just add a 0. So 25 times 1 is 25, and we add a 0. So 25 times 10 is 250. So what we're going to do over here now, 250 is definitely less than 575. So we could use times 10. But I wonder, could we double it? Could I do 25 times 20? Could that get me closer to 575 without going over? Let's try. So over here then, we're going to, again, do 25, but this time we're going to double it. So instead of times 10, we're going to do times 20. So 25 times 2. And what the kids can do if they don't know what 25 times 2 is, I like to have them think about money. Most kids know about quarters. They know a quarter is 25 cents, 2 quarters are 50 cents, 3 are 75, and 4 is $1. So use that information to your advantage. So I know if I have 2 quarters, I have 50 cents. So 25 times 2 is 50. So I'm going to go ahead and put my 50 and then again add that 0. So I get 500 when I double it. 500 is definitely closer to 575. So let's use 20. 20 is a good multiple that'll get us close. So what you do is over here, we're going to put that 20 right here because that is a partial quotient. Okay, it's not the full answer, but it's partial. So 25 times 20 is the next step, which we already did here is 500. And we're going to write that right here. And we're going to go ahead and subtract. Okay, so 575 minus 500 is 75. Okay, so now I've just made my dividend smaller. Now I just have to divide 25 into 75, which again, if you think about money, it takes 3 quarters to make 75 cents. So 25 can go into 75 3 times. So let's use the multiple of 3. So again, we'll put that right here. And 25 times 3 is 75. 75 minus 75 is 0. And because I got 0, I'm done. And I do not have a remainder. So the last step is to put your full quotient here. The full quotient is when you add the partial quotients together. So 20 plus 3 is 23. So the full quotient of 575 divided by 25 is 23. Okay, let's try one more. All right, so we have 210 divided by 15. Again, let's start with times 10. So take your divisor of 15, and we're going to go ahead and multiply that by 10. So 15 times 10 is 150. We just added the 0 again. All right, 150. That will get us very close to 210. It's pretty close. So I'm going to go ahead and keep that. I'm not going to try to double it. Okay, so let's do times 10. That's our multiple we're using. Okay, so 15 times 10 is 150. Let's go ahead and subtract that. 0 minus 0 is 0, and 21 minus 15, that's going to get me 6. All right, so now we have 60. Now, if you know your multiplication facts, you might know what number you need to multiply 15 by to get 60, because there is an exact answer. But if you don't know that, or if your child doesn't know that, have them start simple. You know you can't do times 10 because that's way too much. So have them do times 2. So 15 times 2. Now, this one, a lot of kids don't know off the top of their heads. So they can either multiply it out like this, or they could do repeated addition of 15 plus 15. Okay? Either way, 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So you get 30. Now at this point, some students may realize that 30, even though it's smaller than 60, can actually go into that twice, which means you could double this, okay? So there's 2 ways to go forward from here. You could either use the multiple of 2 and subtract 30 2 times, or some students may realize they could double it and do this. So I'm going to put that down here because I'm running out of room. Double the 30. So instead of times 2, let's do times 4. Okay, so double the 30. 30 plus 30 is 60. So 15 times 4 is 60. So since that actually matches exactly, we could use the multiple of 4 and just have one more step to be done, okay? A lot of kids may not realize that, so I'm just going to go ahead and use this one for sake of practice, but it's good to know that you can double if needed, and then we'll just give you shorter steps, but you will still get the same answer in the end. All right, so I'm gonna use 2. So I'm gonna put my 2 right here, and I know 15 times 2 is 30. I'm gonna go ahead and subtract that out. All right, so I can see I still have 30 as a remainder, and 15 can still go into 30, as we know, 2 times. So let's go ahead and use that multiple of 2 one more time. 15 times 2 is 30, and 30 minus 30 is 0. And now that I've got a 0, and 0 is smaller than 15, we know that we are done and there is no remainder. So the last step is to add up your partial quotients. So 10 plus 2 is 12, plus 2 more is 14. So the full quotient of 210 divided by 15 is 14. Now, if I did happen to have a number here less than 15, but not 0, that would become my remainder. And that is it. That is the partial quotient method. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I hope this was helpful.